Good evening, everyone. For some reason, the camera on this phone is blurry. Let's see if I can. We're going to be blurry tonight. Okay, how's everyone doing? Let me get my clipboard. So tonight, we are going to be going over holding companies, why you need them, the benefits of them, how to set them up, and then how to properly run your holding company. Okay? So, I just never have my stuff together. Let me get my cups. Okay, so a holding company is going to be an entity that we use to hold assets, okay? And when I say hold assets, I mean own the assets. So let me first kind of break down the different entities. Let me break down like which entity you need to be. And then we're going to break down when the holding company comes into place. So, where is you? This is you. Okay? So, when you are starting a business, you have a business, whatever it is, I don't care if your business hasn't made $1, you don't want to be liable for any lawsuits. Okay? So, you probably have money in the bank. You may either own your home or you may have equity in your home. You may have equity in some real estate. You may own some vehicles. Okay, so if you start a business, so I am going to start Joy's Seafood and Gumbo. Okay, I'm not going to form an LLC. I'm going to first start the business, see what it does before I spend $500, with this, paying someone to do it and the filing fee to form the LLC. Well, if I go and get a DBA for me, that's just me doing business in a different name, but it's me. So if I have a house or if I have equity in my home, this little pencil's short. Hold on. So if I have a house, maybe I own a car. Maybe I got some coins in a bank account. When I just go get a DBA, I am doing business. My house is doing business. My car is doing business. The money in my personal bank account is what is doing the business. Okay? Because I haven't separated us. So if somebody were to eat my gumbo platter at lunch, I accidentally left, what is in gumbo? I don't eat gumbo. So maybe I left, the crawfish out overnight too long, and they got food poisoning and died. And they sued me for $2 million. I only had insurance on $1 million. That means I'm personally on the hook for $1 million. Well, the person's family the person who died's family is going to come take my house or make me refinance my house and get that equity out and give it to them. They're going to take the money in my bank account and they're going to take my car. Okay. They're going to take my assets to pay off that judgment. So when you decide to start a business, you want to go paint rocks and sell them. I don't care how small the business is. You want to form an LLC. Now, when I say LLC, I mean LLC or corporation. You pick whatever one you want. I'll go over that in a second, but I'm just going to say LLC, but I mean LLC or corporation because those are going to be the two entities of your choice. An S Corp is not an entity, meaning we don't form an S Corp. It's a tax election. I will get into that also, okay? So when I do it the right way, I'm going to form Joy's Seafood and Gumbo. Although I don't have nothing going on, I'm going to put my house, my car, my little coins, my bank account in here. And then I am going to form Joy's Seafood and Gumbo LLC. Same scenario. Left the crawfish out. Person got food poisoning, died. Their family sued us. They can only sue Joy's Seafood and Gumbo because that's who did business with them. Once I formed Joy's Seafood and Gumbo, I separated me and my assets from the business. So when you do a DBA, that means doing business asked out, you're putting everything in one pot. So you're saying, hey, please come sue me and come take all of my stuff because I don't want to pay the $300 to separate, okay? When you form your LLC, oh, come on, pen. You separate the two. So your personal assets are no longer exposed. So the person dies, they sued me for $2 million. I only had insurance for $1 million. Well, I may owe them, well, not I, Joyce Seafood and Gumbo owes them $1 million. But, you know, Joyce Seafood and Gumbo is new. Maybe she only has $100 in the business bank account, no assets. Well, honey, out that $1 million judgment, they're only going to get $100 because all Joyce Seafood and Gumbo has is $100. Your attorney is going to tell you to go ahead and just leave that entity alone. If you can dissolve it. If they have an attached lien, just leave it alone. And then you're going to just form your whole. Now, I'm going to form Joyce Seafood and Gumbo Part 2. And I'm going to keep my business going. Okay? So this is why you must form an LLC when you're doing business. Now, same scenario. Let's say 3 years go by. Now, Joyce Seafood Gumbo is banging. Okay, I have an hour-long line at lunchtime. Maybe I have a food truck that goes to like different football games. So I own some assets. I have a lot of equipment that I own in my restaurant. And baby, I am booked and busy and at the bank. Okay, so I got money in my bank account for Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. Now, my personal assets are separated because I formed Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. But someone told me that I should start doing lashes. So I start Joyce Lashes. But same scenario. Let me just wait and see what Joyce Lashes done. I'm going to go get a DBA and I'm going to run it underneath my LLC. But when you get a DBA, you're not... I'm a visual person. Hold on, y'all. I said Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. A lot of times, y'all think when you get a DBA and you put it under the LLC that it looks like this. That's not what it is, though. When you get a DBA for your LLC, it is really this. It's just one big LLC. Okay? So for my cup scenario, this is Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. I got equipment, I got trucks, I got money in the bank. And let's just say I have a trademark for Joyce Seafood and Gumbo, and that's also in my LLC. Okay? If I just throw in Joyce Lashes, I'm putting everything in one pot. Same scenario, okay? Now, Joyce Seafood and Gumbo is banging. She's doing something, but Joyce Lashes, baby, I may have 2 clients a week, okay? I'm brand new. I bought the wrong glue. It got on the girl's contact, and she went blind, right? I didn't have any kind of insurance, so now I'm on the hook for her medical bills. And, you know, she got $500,000 because she can't see anymore. Well, they're about to touch, because I got a DBA. So a DBA is just one big LLC. Okay, so Joyce Lashes is just mixed in here with Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. So now the girl that I caused to get blind is going to get Joyce Seafood and Gumbo trademark. They're going to get Joyce Seafood and Gumbo equipment. They're going to come to your restaurant and yank it up out there at that store and go sell it. They're going to come back to the restaurant and get some tow truck. They're going to pick up all them. They're going to pick up that food truck and sell it at an auction and give them the money. Baby, let me tell you how cold a judgment is with these bank accounts. Baby, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to log in and your account going to be negative. And you're like, what's this? And you're going to call the bank and they're going to say, oh, we got a letter for a judgment. So that the bank ain't even going to call you. You're not going to get an alert. You're going to just get got, right? Because the bank is not messing around with their licenses, their credentials. When they get that judgment sent over, they just swiping your account. So all the money's gone, right? So now Joyce Seafood and Gumbo lost everything. The cash flow is gone. I have never met an employee in my life that's going to work for free. Baby, you tell them a paycheck late, they gone. I can't buy any more inventory. I can't buy any more food to keep Joyce Seafood and Gumbo going. I'm not paying my mortgage or my rent. Now this wife or this husband's mad. Y'all stressed. Y'all arguing. Y'all not having sex. The kids is out of baseball. Kids ain't doing gymnastics. That private school tuition is gone. They over here at public school. That luxury car got repossessed. Now everyone's mad and never looking at a foreclosure. Why? Oh, because you didn't want to pay $500 to form Joy's Lashes. So when you just get a DBA, you are not this. You are this. One big pot of gumbo. Now, if I would have formed Joy's Lashes LLC, same scenario. Girl gets blind, sued, blah, blah, blah. They can't touch Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. They can't touch my trademark. They can't touch my equipment. They can't touch my trucks. Although I own them both, they can't touch it because Joy's Lashes was doing business with the client. My client can only sue the entity that they were doing business with. So it's Joy's Lashes. So Joy's Lashes, once again, may have $100 in it. So she's going to get that $100 and she's going to be holding that judgment paper, just collecting dust. Joyce Seafood and Gumbo is still booked and busy. I'm still paying my bills. The luxury car note is being paid. Them kids in private school, they getting their Amazon delivered. They in football and ballet. The mortgage is being paid. Life is great. No one's touching my vehicles. No one's touching the money in my bank account, my personal side. Life is great. Okay? So this is why we form entities. Now, a holding company works the same, but we don't want to do business with an LLC that has assets for this reason. Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. So let's say I got money, but let's say I have 2 food trucks and I have like a mobile van that does catering, right? But I own my food trucks and I own my catering vans outright, meaning I'm not paying a note to any kind of not mortgage company. I'm not paying a note to a finance company or a bank. I have the title to the vehicles and they're in my name or my business. They're in the business name, okay? The trademark I got in Joyce Seafood and Gumbo, and Beyonce was on tour, and, you know, she came by and visited Joyce Seafood and Gumbo, and TMZ got her coming out of my restaurant. So now, you know, they want to have Joyce Seafood and Gumbo in Walmart, HEB, Publix. Like, I'm about to sell my company and be paid. So my trademark, you know, is going to be important. Well, we go back to our first scenario. If someone ate my gumbo, I left the crawfish out overnight too long, they got sick, died, they sued me for $2 million, I only had $1 million policy, so now now Joyce Seafood LLC is on the hook for $1 million. They're going to take everything that Joyce Seafood and Gumbo LLC has. Now, if I was smart and I was listening to this girl who used to be on Instagram talking about holding company. So Joyce Seafood and Gumbo has money, and we'll see. I'm gonna get to my trademark later. Joyce Seafood and Gumbo has money and money in the bank, but I'm gonna form a holding company. I'm gonna put my 2 food trucks. And I'm going to put my 2, food vans in my holding company and my trademark, okay? See, a trademark is going to be, if you trademark your logo or if you trademark your company logo, A logo has something called goodwill, meaning it has value to it. If you see that red chicken head going down the street, your kid's gonna holler, Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. If you see the golden arches and no McDonald's in the middle, you know that's golden arches, okay? So after you grow or scale your business and now you're looking to sell your business to, either maybe you may sell a portion of your business, you may go public, you may sell that whole bad boy. They're going to want to have all of the intellectual property of that business. Okay. So let's just say Chick-fil-A, no, not say Chick-fil-A. Let's just say that someone bought out the McDonald's corporation, right? They're going to want to have the right to the golden arches. They're not going to buy McDonald's if McDonald's doesn't own the arches, and we're going to sell you all the menu, all the grease, all the chemicals, all the good stuff. We're going to sell you Ronald McDonald, but we don't own the arches, so another company is going to use the golden arches. Well, no, there's no deal, because someone else who's not McDonald's, when they put those golden arches up, they're going to think that's McDonald's. Okay, so your trademark is intellectual property. It's an asset. You don't want that trademark to be owned by the LLC that's doing business, and you don't want that trademark being owned by you, because I'm gonna give you a scenario for all three things. Okay, so number one, Joy Seafood and Gumbo LLC only has the money in the bank. Joy Seafood and Gumbo Holding Company is going to hold my trademark, which is an asset. It's going to hold my food trucks and my food vans. Same scenario. Person eats my gumbo. I left it out, got food poisoning, died, got a judgment for $2 million. I only had insurance for $1 million. So now Joy Seafood and Gumbo is on the hook for $1 million, right? So when I get sued, they're going to come take that money out of my business bank account. Bam. But Joy Seafood and Gumbo Holding Company wasn't doing the business. Joy Seafood and Gumbo was doing the business. So now my assets aren't being touched. So maybe they took all the money out the bank, but I still got my food truck. I still have my vans. I can still go park my food truck out, go, hit a lick. I can go do my catering. I don't have to re-up on the equipment. If I just bought some trucks and vans and I put them all in my LLC name thinking I'm doing something, when I get hit with that lawsuit, they're going to seize my van. A tow truck going to pull up to your restaurant with the sheriff, okay? So they're going to pull up it's going to be 3 tow trucks that roll up. I've executed judgments before, okay? 3 tow trucks going to pull up. They're going to block off your entrance ray of your establishment. 1 or 2 police officers are going to walk in with a little man with a clipboard saying, hey, we're here to pick up, blah, 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 equipment. They done already researched. They already gone to the DMV. They already know what you got. Okay. And they're going to pull up and they're going to take that food truck that the LLC owned, them vans, and they're now going to own my trademark. Okay. So I thought I was selling my food and my business to H-E-B and Publix and all that, but because I can't put my logo on it no more because I lost that in the lawsuit, well, now that deal went through. So I lost everything because I had it all in one LLC. In business, you will get sued. I'm not saying you're always going to lose your law. You're not going to always lose a lawsuit, but you will get sued. You don't want the stress of what's going to happen in the lawsuit, because a lawsuit is going to be drug out for 1 to 2 years. That attorney going to call you, and every time he calls and texts, that's money. If you don't know, well, am I about to lose everything? We're not getting no sleep. You're not eating, or you eating too much, getting fat. Now you arguing, these kids getting on your nerves. Now it's a whole shit show for 2 years. So if you're doing business with an entity that has assets, you are now exposing those assets to all of the creditors. So what do? You form a holding company. Well, what's a holding company? I'm glad you asked. A holding company is going to be an LLC or a corporation, you choose, that does no business. All you're doing is forming it to put assets in. You can only put an asset in a holding company if you own it. Okay, so if you went to the dealership yesterday and financed you a truck, you don't own that truck. Chase Bank or whoever you finance the truck with owns the truck. Okay, but if you have a paid off truck, you have a paid off car, if you have any kind of equipment, okay, a trademark, any important copyright, anything that's an asset, you want it to be held in a separate LLC called a holding company. If you own property, okay, so maybe you're a real estate investor, you own property. We don't want to have someone renting our property that we own. Well, why? Well, you know, people is looking for a lawsuit. Okay, so let's just say I own a home and I'm renting it, or I'm doing an Airbnb, but I own the home in my LLC name. So Joy's Airbnb. Okay, so Joy's Airbnb owns this house and I'm renting it out on Airbnb, and someone's having a bachelorette party. It got too lit and someone was doing a dance with a stinky leg on the kitchen counter, fell and broke her neck. Of course they're going to sue me, right? So they're going to sue me for $2 million. They're going to get $1 million from my insurance. I'm on the hook for $1 million. Bam. If I own the house that I'm doing business with, they're going to take my house, sell it, and take the money. So you don't want to own the house in Joy's Airbnb LLC and do business with that same LLC. When I say do business, meaning I don't want to have my Airbnb contracts in Joy LLC, Joy's Airbnb LLC name. I don't want to have the lease agreement between the tenant and me in the Joy LLC name, because Joy LLC has assets. If you have assets, people can take your assets. If you have equity in your home, they can make you refi that home and take that equity out. Same with you personally, okay? Back over here to my personal cup. If you own your car outright, baby, I don't care if it's an old 2010 hoopty, but you done got the oil changes, you done check that transmission, you done kept up. This little 2010 hoopty is paid off and the AC works, is still good. It's your good little run around car, your good little work car. You ain't tripping on the miles. Granted, you really can't sell the 2010 car and get a whole lot of money for it, but the value of, I don't have to put the miles on my luxury car, on my everyday car, or I have another asset that if I needed to put, something up for collateral to get a loan, I have something. So if you own your home, if you own property, if you own a car, you don't want that in your name. Well, why? Well, what if one day you were driving down the street and it's raining and you didn't see the person's brake lights and you just ran into them and they got in a car accident and they broke their neck and now they're paralyzed from the neck down? Well, they're going to sue you and you're going to lose the lawsuit because you were at fault. And guess what? In the real world, things happen. Either you're going to make a mistake, your child may make a mistake. At 16, they crashed into somebody's and they got sued. Baby, who are they coming after? The parent. So if you own your house in your name or you own your car in your name and you go and crash, or your child goes and crash and they sue you, anything in your name is going to be taken. Okay, so you can have one holding company, have your business. What color was the holding company? See, this is why I got to slow down. It's the holding company right here. You can have the one holding company, which is going to be an LLC or corporation, your choice. You can put your business assets in there, and you can put your personal assets in there. When I say personal assets in there, I mean this. If you own your car, you're going to sell the car to the holding company. Okay, so there's going to be a contract, and then the holding company is going to go down to the DMV. The title is going to be in Joy's holding company's name. The registration for the vehicle is going to be in Joy's holding company's name. I will lease the car from my holding company. So if I were to go down to Lexus and get a lease, I would sign a lease agreement and I would pay Lexus every single month to use their car. If I'm leasing a car from Lexus and I get in a car accident, can the person take that car from me? No, because I don't own it. It's Lexus's car. Well, same thing, except your holding company is Lexus. Okay, so your holding company that you form, you're going to put the deed for your home will be in the holding company name. The registration for your vehicles and the title for whatever you own is going to be in the holding company's name. You're going to have a lease agreement between you and the holding company saying, I'm going to pay you $100 a month to use my 2010 Ford 50. You're going to sign the lease agreement. We're going to do it like we're really doing it for real. So every month you're going to write a check for $100 to Joy's holding company for being able to use that car. Now you will still have the insurance in your name, just like if you lease it from Lexus, you will still carry the insurance. But the ownership is the LLC. Now, people are going to say, but you own the LLC. But you own that, so can't they get it? The LLC is separate from you. An LLC is like a baby. So when a woman births a baby, something comes out of her body. We're gonna use my monkeys. I birthed this monkey, okay? It came out of me. This is my child. But the child is a separate person. It's not me. Although I made it, I birthed it, whatever. Once it comes out of the woman's belly, it's no longer connected to her. It's a separate thing, a separate person. It has its own rights. It can vote. It can do whatever. It's its own separate person. So just because this is you and you also own the holding company and you also although you own all of this, once you form the entity, you separate everything. Okay? Here's the biggest mistake. Number one, people think they're about to do business with the holding company. The whole point of having a holding company is so that this entity doesn't get sued. So this entity needs to do nothing. It needs to transact no business with the outside world. You don't need to establish no business credit with the holding company. You don't need to get no credit card with the holding company. You don't need to get no loans with the credit card with the holding company, because you don't want this company to be sued. The only people that know about the holding company is the person that formed it and you. So that's how you protect your assets. You put them in a holding company. Now, for your LLC or your corporation, you need to make sure that one, it's active. So every year you are going to have to file and some kind of annual report with your state to make sure that your entity is active. If you are a corporation, not an S Corp, I'm talking about a C Corp. So if after your business name is the words Inc., I-N-C, or incorporated, there are more corporate formalities that a corporation has to do. Okay, so you're going to have annual minutes, meaning you're going to have to have a meeting if it's just you with yourself, but it has to be documented. You're going to have to issue out something called shares of stock. You're going to have to appoint a board of directors, even if it's just you, but you got to have paperwork for all of this. When you get sued, opposing counsel, the first thing they're going to say is, let me see your annual minutes for the last 3 years. If you don't have them, then you don't really have a corporation. Now all what we done did was out the drain, because they're going to call it's going to be called piercing the corporate veil. Like, yeah, you set all this stuff up, but now I'm about to break all this stuff up and get to the assets. So that's why I always say form an LLC, because you only have one thing that you got to do every single year. It's, a corporation, you got other stuff you got to do. If you're not the most organized person, if you are, a lot of people are in their business running it and they don't have time to do all the little small, corporate formalities, but this is how you lose all of that. If you are an S Corp, once again, is a tax election, meaning it's not an entity. You don't form an S Corp with the Secretary of State. You form either an LLC or a corporation known as a C Corp, and then you will choose to either have your LLC or your C Corp taxed as an S Corp. Okay, so this is why we need to have our holding company. We need to have a lease agreement. So when you're trying to do asset protection, you have to actually do it. So don't just form the LLC holding company and then never transfer the title or the deed over to the holding company name. Well, then you don't really have a holding company that's funded and that's really protecting your assets. You would do it the same way for if you want to lease the assets to your business. Okay, so Joy's Seafood and Gumbo, and my holding company is going to be owning my 2 food trucks and my 2 food vans for catering. Joy's Seafood and Gumbo is going to sign a lease agreement, and I'm going to pay $500 a month to lease the food truck. Something that's nominal, but you have to have a lease agreement signed. Every month there needs to be either a bank transfer from Joy's Seafood and Gumbo to the holding company, or a check deposited from Joy's Seafood Gumbo to the holding company for the lease amount. So when you set up the holding company, right, you set all this up and you get sued, you're doing the work, you are being proactive. Okay, so something may happen. Let me dot all my I's, let me cross all my T's. The attorney that's suing you is like, that was good. That was good. Now, how do I break through all of this? They're going to pull your Secretary of State records. On the date of the incident, was your LLC active? Okay, if you didn't file that report because you didn't know and you forgot and you were running your business as an inactive LLC on the day that the person got sick with the gumbo and got dead, I don't have an LLC. I don't have none of this stuff. It's now a shitstorm. Okay, if you have a holding company, okay, and that's what owns these trucks, okay, let me see your lease agreement. Give me the last 90 days or last 6 months of the bank statement showing your lease payment to the holding company. Oh, well, you thought because you own the company and you own the holding company, you really didn't have to make that transfer because, it's just going from one bank to another bank. If you're going to set up asset protection, the other party's looking to wreck all this. So if for the last 6 months, if there's not a lease payment, well, baby, you really weren't leasing this vehicle. What were you doing? Playing asset protection? So that is why it's so important to not just listen on Instagram and I got a holding company and I got a management company. I'm going to pay this. All that stuff sounds good, right? And nothing's wrong with it. You need to understand what it is that you are forming and how do you keep your protection. It's like buying a Rolls Royce and never getting an oil change. Well, eventually the engine's going to go out, right? So you got this big old note. You got these nice leather seats. You stunting on the gram, but the car ain't going nowhere. So once you set it up, you need to understand why you're doing this. So is it going to be a hassle? It may be a hassle, right? But is it more of a hassle to once a month, on a Sunday, hey, let me go ahead and pay. Let me go ahead and write out all the checks for all my leasing agreements for all my companies. Let me do all my paperwork monthly. So when a lawsuit happens, you're not tripping. You're not losing no sleep. You on vacation. You living your life because you already know, baby. Go ahead. You got me. You got me. So you gonna get Joyce. I should not have left that crawfish out. They are gonna take Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. Go ahead and take it. Once you're in litigation, you're gonna have about a year or 2 years. You're gonna know in about 30 days where this case is going. Are we settling it or are we going to litigation? So that's why I always say, when you form your business, form two. Form two? In business, either you getting the getting or you getting got. It's just you either the predator or the prey. That's all it is, right? So when I form a business, I'm going to go form two. Okay, so I got a dealership. I got dealership A. I'm going to go ahead and form a new LLC. I'm going to get my dealership license. I'm going to get my finance license. I'm going to open up my bank account. I'm going to get my logo. I'm going to get I'm gonna go to GoDaddy and buy a domain name. I got my email address. I got everything for this company that I'm not about to do nothing. It's just gonna be sitting there. The whole goal is kind of like insurance. You buy insurance to hopefully never use it, right? But in case something happens, I'm good. So if I'm Joyce Seafood and Gumbo, I'm gonna form Jay's Seafood and Gumbo. I'm going to go to the city. I'm going to get whatever kind of permit I need to have a restaurant. I'm going to form the LLC. I'm going to get the business bank account. I'm going to make me a similar logo. I'm going to get a website. I'm going to get me a branded email address. I'm going to just sit Jay's Seafood and Gumbo to the side. Every year, I'll make sure I file my LLC annual report. This is here. So when the person gets sick, and I'm like, who was on closing duty? And I realized it may have been an employee, who comes in late, not the most responsible. So they probably did leave this out too late. I already know I'm about to lose this fight, right? So, the person has to get sick. They got to throw up. They got to go to the hospital. They got to go through all of that. They got to hire an attorney. Baby, I'm already being proactive. I already see, once you see some fire, like some shit bound to happen, don't just sit here and wait to receive the lawsuit. Baby, I'm already slowly moving money out of Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. I'm already changing lease agreements. I done already moved Jay's Seafood and Gumbo in play. I done already contacted my merchant. I done got new merchant accounts under Jay's Seafood and Gumbo. I already had the logo. I already had the website. I already had the email address. I already had the LLC. I already had everything. So in less than 7 business days, I am running everything from the from the girl getting sick on under Jay's Seafood and Gumbo. Joyce Seafood and Gumbo is still here. It don't have no money in the bank account. It don't have no assets. That attorney about to be talking to me crazy. They gonna send all these reckless letters. We gonna sue you and boom, boom, boom. I already know I'm out of order. The crawfish was out. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm about to lose. I'm gonna lose Joyce Seafood and Gumbo. But I'm okay because Jay's Seafood and Gumbo, the cash flow hasn't stopped. Jay's Seafood and Gumbo was already going on. I done already contacted my landlord. Hey, let's go on ahead and switch this lease agreement to Jay's Seafood and Gumbo. Okay? If you want to add an extra year, baby, go ahead. But see, Jay's Seafood and Gumbo is about to be gone. Now, does your landlord want to sue the company that already has a lawsuit coming, or are they going to want to be attached to the entity that the bank account and the money is going into? they trying to get their money. So yeah, we about to switch these leases around. The bank account's been switched. And now your life is still going on. Your employees don't know what's going on. The customers don't know what's going on. The logo may look a little different, but the recipe is the same. That line is, and your house, your mortgage is getting paid. The kids are still in private school. Your wife is still going to the spa shopping. She loves you. You're a hero. Y'all, you going golfing. We at Essence Fest turned up. Our life hasn't changed. This is the importance of understanding before I get in business, what am I risking? See, everybody wants to start a business. Everyone wants to start a business, and for some reason, everybody wants to get into trucking, right? Baby, when you jump into business, it ain't strawberries and cupcakes over here, okay? This is brass knuckles. This is, 10 on 1 over here. This is dirty and grimy in these business streets. So you need to understand, what do I have going on? How do I protect what I have going on? And what are the steps I'm supposed to be doing? And then you follow those steps. Now, for everyone talking about a trust and a holding company are similar asset protection vehicles, okay? So if I were to say luxury car, the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S550 would be comparable, right? If you like BMW, you would probably be running around a BMW 7 Series if you want to have the biggest BMW luxury car, right? And if you were on the Benz side, and I'm trying to do apples to apples, so I know they got a Maybach, but we're not gonna go over there. If you're a Benz person and you want to be in that same price point, you would be, in the Benz S550. Okay, they're both luxury sedans. A trust and a holding company are similar. Okay, but a trust has a little bit more reins on the assets, meaning in a holding company, when I see fire coming, I can move things around in an LLC, right? That's what I call the zig and the zag. Oh, baby, she about to get jumped over here. Let me go ahead and move this. I can move things around between LLCs. Depending on what kind of trust you have, you really can't move things in and out of a trust, okay? Like once it's in, it's just parked, okay? But there may be some benefits for you by having a trust, okay? So I'm not saying, once again, to get one over the other. What I'm saying is you need to understand why you need this, okay? If you have an asset that you're trying to pass on along, your family or your kids, and we're not really doing business with the asset, it's just like a family home, you may want to put it in a trust. You need to find an estate planning attorney and let them know what your goals are, pay for a consultation, and they're going to tell you the requirements to get that asset in a trust and what all you can and cannot do with that asset. You have to then decide, do I want to do, is it best for me? Is it best for me to have a trust, or is it best for me to have a holding company? But what is best for me? Because what's best for person A is going to be different than person B, and what's best for person B is going to be different than person C. But a lot of times people are going to listen to 10 people on Instagram, and then you try to combine all these strategies, and nothing is wrong with the strategies, but the strategies got to meet the play that you're trying to do. That's why it's important to understand, why do I need a holding company? If I'm starting a business, I don't have a dollar to my name, I don't have any assets. How do you form an LLC for my bid? I don't have one client. Well, baby, you don't need a holding company, because what you gonna put in the holding company? You need to first form your LLC. So if you only have $1,000, baby, Focus on forming your LLC for your business. Focus on, getting your logo. Focus on getting your inventory. Focus on getting the business. It's great to know all these things. So bam, when I do start making money, you already know what play you're about to run. So I always say, do a consultation. Okay. If you're just starting out, what do you think you're about to do? But if you're just starting out, baby, you don't need a trust. You don't need a holding company. You just need to focus on starting your business and protecting your business and getting everything built out for your business. Okay. So it's very important that, you're going to be hearing a lot of things and, you can get you an S Corp and pay you a management fee. Baby, if your business isn't making any money, where are you getting the management fee from? If your business is not making any money, how are you saving in taxes? You don't owe any taxes. You're not making no money. So why you got this S Corp? You haven't made a dime. So if you haven't made no money, guess what? Your tax bill is zero. So getting this S Corp isn't saving you $1. Now on Instagram, you're going to hear 8,000 people say how the S Corp is going to save you money. And the S Corp will save you money once you're making the money. So it's very important to just, when you're starting your business, it's kind of like going through school. When you're in let's just first knock out elementary school. Knock out elementary school. Make sure you got your corporate documents in order. We don't have a home address on them. You have a business or virtual address. You have your registered agent address. That is a current address, not an old address. Let's make sure that we have these LLC reports in on time. Make sure we have our business bank accounts with no negative balances. We aren't paying personal bills out the business bank account. If we are a heavy cash-based business, we're not just putting the cash in our pocket and going to Walmart or going to happy hour and spending it. That all the cash is going to hit the bank so that the bank account shows the true income of the business. If your industry requires to have licenses and permits with the city or with the state, you have your licenses and permits. You have business insurance. There's something called errors and omissions. If you make a mistake, that's going to be the insurance you need. So if I'm in trucking and I'm delivering oranges to Publix and Kroger's, but I accidentally dropped the Publix oranges off at Kroger's and I didn't get the Kroger's oranges to them in time. Well, now Kroger's was out of oranges for a week and lost money. Well, who you think Kroger's is going to come after for that money that they lost because your truck driver dropped off the wrong oranges? You got to pay for that. That's called E&O insurance, errors and omissions. When you make a mistake, they got insurance for that, okay? General liability. If you have a storefront, you better have a minimum $1 million general liability insurance policy. If someone falls and breaks their neck, you need to be covered. There are so many people out here running businesses without insurance. Business interruption insurance. If something were to happen, if someone came into Joy's Lashes and broke in and stole all my lashes and it took me 2 months to re-up my inventory, I'm going to be out of business for 2 months. Well, business interruption insurance is going to pay you whatever you would have normally made for that time you were out of business. But you cannot just be so worried about the S Corp and the trust, and we don't even have insurance. Okay, so there is levels to all of this. You got to first maximize the first level, then we're going to go to the second level. So make sure you are understanding why you are asking what you're asking. Okay, a sole proprietor is nothing, baby. So can you change the sole proprietor LLC? That's called, yes, you're going to form an LLC. The sole proprietor, you don't form a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor is just you doing business. So that's just you exposing yourself to the business creditors. So you will just form an LLC. So this is my breakdown on holding companies. If you feel like you want to know more, if you want to know if this is for you in your business, if you want me to set up the holding company and with the lease agreements and do all the shebang, then book a business structure call and I can get you exactly what it is that you need. Remember, we are not going to do business as ourselves. We are not going to do business with an LLC that has assets. And we are not going to do business with a lot of DBAs under one LLC, because all of that is just exposing us and our assets to more liability. Okay? Well, everyone have a great night, and I will see you at the bank.